What were you doing in January of 1992? Maybe tough to recall, but there's a Salt Lake City homicide detective who will never forget.
That's the day a West High School student was murdered on her way to school, and no one seems to know who did it. KSL investigator Debbie Dujanovic shows us 3 clues that police hope will someday solve this mystery.
The year 1992. Boyz II Men topped the music charts. A police beating in Los Angeles made Rodney King a household name. And in the 24 years since, the unsolved murder of Salt Lake City teen Debbie Grabber weighs heavy on homicide detective Cordon Parks.
What's really odd is it happened at 6:30 in the morning when she walks out the door to go to school. She doesn't make it to the school, and there's no report of any big fight or struggle on the sidewalk.
A witness called police after he saw a man dump a suspicious-looking bag from a shopping cart.
January 17, 1992, the day after she disappeared, Debbie Grabber's body was found not far from her home, dumped and buried under loose brush in a snow-covered lot near 751 West in South Temple. The 15-year-old West High student was a good kid, police tell me. Even her diary entries don't divulge anything odd. Just days before her murder, she wrote about typical teen stuff, boys, high hopes for a future in modeling, and that boring astronomy class she was taking.
No partying, no drugs, no drinking.
Police have long since cleared family and her known friends.
This is the duplex where Debbie lived with her mom.
And they believe the murderer likely lived or stayed in the neighborhood. The original police report describes a white male transient with long hair seen pushing a shopping cart with what turned out to be Debbie's body inside.
He was wearing one distinctive thing. He was wearing a very long and described as thick green army coat.
The suspect's boots left another clue.
The Outback logo is just perfectly preserved in the ice and the snow. So whoever this was pushing the shopping cart was wearing brand new Outback boots.
And Debbie's body was found,
I'm hoping somebody will recognize it,
with a pink blanket and this green blanket.
The bottom had already been cut off of it. That's kind of a distinctive feature.
Park showed me that green blanket and this strap found at the scene. Nearly a quarter century later, it's all kept secure inside a police evidence room.
There's cigarette burns all the way through it. There's like grease on it. It's filthy.
He hopes that by showing the strap, the blanket, and that boot print publicly for the first time, it'll bring in new tips to solve the murder case.
The thing about Debbie's case is it was all right there. Whatever happened to her was right there within a block of her house. She died within a block of where she lived.
Such a sad story, and there are a couple of folks Parks would like to find so he can talk to them. He tells me there was a known drug house near Debbie's home, and he'd like to hear from anyone who may have been familiar with that home at the time. Also, police think, man, maybe Debbie did have a crush on a boy or perhaps a boyfriend, and they've never been able to identify anyone, so they'd like to hear from anybody who knows anything about that. You know, after 24 years, detectives welcome any new tips. You can always call Salt Lake City PD. You can get to the homicide unit by 801-799-3000. That's the phone number to call.
You know, I can't help but wonder, as a mother, that would have to be so troubling to not know. Do police have any insights as to the family or how they're doing?
I did get in contact with the mom, Deanie, and it has been a very difficult road for this family. And she was extremely grateful that Debbie has not been forgotten by Detective Parks and the Salt Lake City Police Department, and she's very thankful. Hopefully this story will lead to new tips.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep on it. Thanks.